Let's say for some reason someone gave you a gun, right? And the intention of having the gun was for the potential circumstance that your family were to annoy you. Someone lends you the gun and he says to you it would be okay for you to shoot that person in case they annoy you. Now, from what I told you, you're probably like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Let me talk. We'll get there. Make more sense. So yeah, you have that authority to shoot now. You're allowed. You have that option. And if you were to do this deed, it wouldn't be seen as a bad thing. So it's acceptable. Now, naturally, assuming you do love your parents, as do I, and you're just a family member in general, the thought of doing such an act, it would bog you, wouldn't it? It would. As it should be, and it's a normal human sensation to feel. Let's say you do have the gun in your house, right? You are very aware of the repercussions that are given from shooting and doing all this heinous crime and whatnot. So you know the repercussions, you know the punishment. You know the repercussions, you know the punishment that comes along with that, right? And you know the dangers, the power, the damage, physically and emotionally, the emotional physical damages that that gun can cause. And it would scare you to even look at it for a moment, to even touch it, even if the trigger is off. It's the mere knowledge of the dangers of what it could do that makes it dangerous. So we would even dare look at it or lay eyes on it. I said the same thing twice, or even touch it. Don't you think it's the same with divorce? Because with the gun analogy, we know that the gun will put some permanent damage, physically and emotionally. Maybe even to your spirit too. So I was thinking perhaps divorce is the same thing. And I think it is. And perhaps maybe that's why God hates divorce. I've seen all these TV shows on, TV, like Housewives in particular. I don't watch TV, but there would be times I walk past my TV and I see it on, right? And I think to myself, these women are toxic in the sense of whenever an argument goes on, even if it's one of the smallest arguments, it's almost as if the woman is like, they hold it. Don't let me divorce you, don't let me divorce you. I shit you not, guys. They say that stuff. I'll divorce you, I'll divorce you, I'll divorce you, I'll divorce you. And it's almost like their version of a gun in a metaphorical sense to try to scare the man. Because we know most marriages, unfortunately, and this is taken into account if you put the government involved, tends to benefit the women rather than the men. The women tend to gain a lot more. What's in it for the man? Well, they lose 50% of their net worth. The woman takes 50%, so the woman actually gains income, more income. Man's net worth is reduced by half. The man has to pay for child support now, comes out from the man's pocket. Man's gonna lose their child, which is a part of him, his seed, manifested in real form. The woman gets to keep her eggs, manifested in real form. So she keeps the kids via the kids. I can imagine it, it's tough, and I can see why most divorces don't end well. And rightfully so. It's not a good thing, and no wonder God hates it. But yet divorce happens so commonly. Very common. And it's very destructive. Both on the man and the woman's behalf. Both physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Don't even get me started on the kids. That's where the real damage is done. How sad for the kids to have to suffer. The 8 billion people in the world. How unfortunate that the children have to suffer yet again because their unstable parents were too childish to form a sensible decision. Because they couldn't solve their petty problems. And it happens from the most simplest things, like breaking the chair, or not cleaning the couch, not vacuuming the house. It tends to be the smallest problems that tend to build up and escalate into something greater. Something great, and then it's really cold, so I'm not gonna bother clicking my fingers, but you get the idea. Divorce happens. And I can see why God hates divorce. And this is why I hate divorce. The mere concept of even having a divorce sickens me. We seem to be forgetting what marriage really is, and I'm primarily aiming at the celebrities now. I think the problem with a lot of people now, and I'm primarily talking about women here, I feel like most women on the internet are forgetting that marriage is for your entire life. And marriage is more than just a single day, a single ceremony where everyone's there and you get your ultimate validation, you get all your pictures, your Disney life for the sake of Instagram so you can post it and so your friends can get jealous and say, oh my god, I got married. And for most men, they want to get married. Most men don't want to get married, but they feel pressure to do so. They're in fear, they're in scarcity, you know? And I'm primarily talking about marriage which involves the government. I think traditional style weddings which don't involve any form of paperwork or some stupid governmental contract, I think that's okay. But when the government is involved, I think it's really bad. The concept of a divorce, I don't even think should even exist. It sucks. Because what tends to happen is the men and women, they tend to find another spouse. And some of you guys may argue, oh, it's natural to want to do that because there's human nature for a man to want to be with a woman and a woman to want to be with a man. But it's still adultery. You having sex with him, not to have children with him, it's still adultery. Because that person's still alive. Now, if that person were dead, well, I'm not a fan of remarriage, but in that scenario, remarriage is actually considered okay, believe it or not. And also having sex. But when that person is alive, it's still adultery, even if you divorce. Best case scenario, you do get back together. Most of the time it doesn't happen, which is very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. What is marriage? It's a contract. A spiritual contract. Essentially, you're both one, you both become one person. In a spiritual sense, and that's a byproduct of you loving each other to the deepest level. And as a physical byproduct, because you could argue spiritual at the same time, you make an offspring via a child. A child. It's just the same that they have to suffer also because of your selfish actions. You'd think, because they're adults, and I'm talking primarily from a child's perspective because they're not really fully aware of how the world works. They tend to have this false impression that, you know, adults know it all. I'm 19 years old now, and I'm pushing adult in 10 months. I'll be 20 in 10 months. And even I can say, these adults are just as fucked up as we. And that's normal. They're human. No one thought they'd be perfect. But I know when you're a child, you do perceive it that way. The older you get, you will realize this. Yeah, just safe to say, I can see why people hate divorce. I hate divorce. The mere thought of having a divorce disgusts me. Hence why, if I do decide to get married, I'm not involving the government. It will just be a traditional marriage. I don't need the government's recognition. Fuck the government. Why are they involved in my personal life? Fuck you. I understand some governments are good from a financial standpoint in terms of, you know, governmental benefits, universal credits, which is essentially the state lending you money because you lack the means to live comfortably on your own. You're not making enough income, so I can respect and acknowledge it from that standpoint. I mean, only some countries are like that, I believe, you know, your first world countries. I think it's some, in terms of, first world in terms of high income countries, you know, London, Paris, New York. I don't believe it's the same for newly emerging economies. Acronym would be NEEs, like Nigeria, I don't know, what other, Turkey, I believe that's an NEE. I know for sure low income countries do not do that. Sudan, Congo, just name some at the back of my head, whatever poor countries are. There are many, I don't know. You know, divorce is disgusting. The reason why I told you that gun analogy is I feel like that gun is the equivalent of having a divorce, and it's actually crazy how there are actually some psychopathic women who actually inflict fear and fear on their man for even a simple argument, threatening them to divorce, threatening to divorce with them. In the sense of, I'll divorce you. I know what I'm saying may sound crazy. I'm telling you, this stuff does happen. I saw it on flipping Housewives, and they're millionaires. That's the equivalent of you having a gun. I'm going to shoot you if you don't obey me. But it's the woman saying, oh, I'm going to shoot you if you don't. I'm going to divorce you if you don't listen to me. It's crushing. It really is so crushing. Especially from an emotional standpoint. What do you think the woman... It always ends with the woman crying. Even though most divorces are initiated by the woman anyway. And it's for the stupidest reasons sometimes. Even some family channels, although I'm not going to name any names, but they'll receive some form of hate on the internet, they decide to divorce. It's very common. A-list celebrities. So Kim Kardashian, Kanye West, they divorce. The Kardashian curse, they always divorce. It tends to happen a lot with celebrities. They don't understand what true marriage is. They think it's just Instagram. It's one day pictures for Instagram. 30k wedding. Real marriage starts the day after. It's a lifelong commitment. Obviously not with the government involved. But between you and her, with God in the center of the middle. When you have God in the center, you're fine. You don't have to worry. If you have God in the center of that, don't even think about divorce. Divorce doesn't exist in my vocabulary. I'm 100% certain I will not divorce, because I know me. And I'll be picky with my woman to ensure that doesn't happen. Make sure that her values are on point. Her values are straight. Her morals are straight, as it will be with me. And when we go in that pursuit, this is why I tell people, don't settle too soon. Don't settle now. Go down too quickly. Don't have sex. Don't get a woman pregnant at 19 when you haven't figured life out. You don't even know who you truly are yet. Find yourself. Develop. Then find the one. And then divorce will be out of the question, because you found a guaranteed high quality. Yeah, I feel like I'm just rambling on now. I don't want to waste too much of your time. I hope this was somewhat thought-provoking. Just my perception on divorce and, why I think it's bad and whatnot. Yeah, that's all. We can have a discussion with the comments also on the matter. I think it'll be very interesting to have this conversation. I believe it's not spoken enough. True marriage is actually the lifelong commitment, and it commonly tends to start after the big day. Remember, women, I know my channel is primarily based on men, but let's assume there's a small amount who are actually watching. Marriage is more than just the day, that big ceremony. It's after that really counts.